and welcome to another episode of the Convoluted Podcast. And today we have another guest from the Reddit realm. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Cody Blade here. Nothing that interesting.
No, man. Cody, thank you for taking the time. It's always a pleasure to talk with anyone on the internet because you never know what's going to happen. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I kind of do a little bit of everything. I have a podcast of my own called the Blade Cast, which we will definitely work something out with that for sure. I have some music out. A lot of it's ironic. Don't take it too serious. Just look on your major platforms. I do a YouTube channel, Cody Blade, and you just Google me. You'll find a lot of my stuff.
Hey, nice and simple. One name. That works. All right. So what kind of got you started doing some of these like online endeavors?
Let's see. YouTube, I was watching all the way back in 2010, I want to say, or 2009. One of those years I started watching YouTube. And then about 2012, I was like, hey, I should record myself doing some dumb stuff and put it on there. And then that lasted for about 6 months. And then I started again about 2.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I got back to the YouTube stuff because I ended up just kind of wanting to do something with my free time because watching YouTube and stuff's cool, but kind of run out of content after a while.
No, I feel you there. There's a lot as far as YouTube. There's a lot to watch, but there's a lot of stuff that it's not worth watching, and then you kind of get yourself in these like you get comfortable with certain things, and then you get tired of watching the same thing over and over. So I feel you there, and I think a lot of people do too. So what about your music? What got you working on music?
Well, I'm not sure. Pretty much because I think it was due to the fact when Lil Pump kind of came out on the scene, I'd heard so much rap that had a lot of bars and things like that, and I'm like, is this all? And because I had been disconnected from music and everything for a year or two, I was like, is this all it takes now? And then I just grabbed my cell phone.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna be honest. Me and my buddies, for a hot moment, we were about to dive into something similar. At that point we kind of joke about little things like that. But it sounds like you like actually took the next step. Okay, that was weird.
Probably my Wi-Fi crashed. That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. Usually, it's usually from my end. So okay.
I got the best Wi-Fi in my area, and it's still pretty shitty. Because let's see, I'm with Spectrum, and then the other option is CenturyLink. So it's not very.
Do that. Damn. Okay. All right. So yeah. Because mostly. Okay. That's interesting. Mostly because you do, at least your project you're doing is all online. That has to be a little bit rough.
Yeah, I do a lot of my stuff offline and then kind of do the uploading.
To feel like for people in like this generation, at least, there's like this online generation, like having, for the most part, having poor internet, I'll say, is like living in the Stone Ages for some people. And I have like little nieces and nephews. The second they lose like any service, it's the end of the world.
Well, I mean, I still get like 11 megabytes to my phone. It's like it runs 13 megabytes per second, but it just cuts out on occasion for like up to 5 minutes at a time.
Interesting.
It's because it's just in such a, I guess, small town Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get a little bit back to some of your other stuff. We were talking about your music and some of the things that got you into. So how much into your music projects have you gotten into as of recent? Because I listened to one, and it was enjoyable to listen to. It's fun. Well, it's a fun song just to kind of show people. Like you just share it to share it.
Well, recently I haven't been focusing as much on that. I mean, I've been like, okay, maybe I've been more on the ironic side. I just released an album where I turned other songs that I had already that were mostly trash with a chipmunk style voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not putting a lot of effort into this right now, but I need to throw something out.
All right. Like for the most part, it's so far all the stuff you. I kind of went back and looked at some of the, at least your YouTube videos too. A lot of your content, in my opinion, is like shareable content that you show people to see their reactions and see what they're, and like there hasn't been a lot of content like that in a while where you just share it to get people's reactions. There's here and there, but there's a lot of it's just these days it's just commentary and stuff like that, and you get like I said, like you mentioned, you get kind of bored of certain content after a while, so finding new stuff is rare. So mostly when we're talking like niche channels.
Yeah, there's some niche channels that, I mean, the main niche I follow is professional wrestling, and that's pretty big for a niche. I mean, channels with because most niche channels are like 100K range, and then there's a lot of wrestling channels with over 1 million. So
true. Actually, there's a guy I was watching who was reviewing, like apparently there's a reasonable size like channels on YouTube with backyard wrestling.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. And I don't understand why.
It's baffling. Like I was watching. Go ahead.
So you know how, like, for people who aren't 8, when you watch a Jake Paul video, you're kind of wanting to see the train wreck.
Exactly. Yeah. Of
how bad it is. That's kind of backyard wrestling.
Yes. It's if anyone listening, just type in backyard wrestling and look up for the most recent, and it's some crazy stuff out there.
Put the word extreme, because then you'll see some really out there shit.
There you go. Yeah, just add the tag extreme. It's surprising what you can find, and it can pass the time. And it's one of those things that I remember I would probably, like, at least a few years back, probably I would say around 2015, I would be hunting these kind of videos out. But I'm glad that people are still putting these things out there, because it's just awesome. Like
it's so bad that it's good.
Exactly. There you go. That's the best way to put it.
But I've been looking for bad content or even just really out there content to make some commentary style content out of, and I found a few. I got some things in my back pocket.
All right, yeah, because you said before we started recording, you said that you kind of delved into a little rabbit hole recently.
Yeah, this was really accidental, and it sounds fucked up. So I made a commercial dub of Manscaped. For those who don't know what Manscaped is, it's men's grooming, and most of their men's grooming is for the genitals. But their commercials are safe for YouTube. So I did a little commercial dub and just fucked around with it. So I looked they have shit that tells you where you're at in the SEO, but I wanted to see hands-on. So I looked incognito on YouTube, not on Google, and was you know what I mean? YouTube is Google. So I was looking, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking dick on my screen. And it's a Brazilian, and this is how I got on a Brazilian wax rabbit hole. This video, I flagged it because I'm like, how does it had over 1 million views. It was like, how to do a Brazilian. See, that one got to be able to pass because it was educational content. And I was like, what the hell? So I searched Brazilian wax. And if you search it, you will have a bunch of nude genitals as the thumbnails as you scroll down. And there's only one video that I found that falls under the educational boundary where they can show nudity. These videos, hundreds of thousands of views.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, and it pisses me off because you have people like Monkey Jones kicked off the platform because they disagreed. And then they're demonetizing people like Count Dankula, Steven Crowder. Whether you agree with those people or not, they never broke the guidelines. And
No.
when I see a blatant guidelines breaking, it really pisses me off when YouTube does nothing about it on that large of a scale. Because I'm like an edgelord, I would say, to an extent. Because I don't care if you hurt your feelings or hate speech or whatever. I think it should be free speech. But when you have nudity, it's like, okay, that I think that one they should really at least enforce if they're such a kids platform.
No, yeah, you're right. Because at least within the last few years, there's been trying to be a lot of change in the YouTube platform, and there's been a lot of spoken things for different things. There's been a lot of things have happened. Like, we can say a lot of things, but there are times when things slip through the cracks and they aren't addressed. Because if I remember right, a few months back, there was that whole the kitty videos that were being posted by like pedophiles or people just, and there's like I forgot who did it. He like almost started like Adpocalypse 3.
See, I had a problem with that guy. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Because my problem with him is he didn't try to say, "Hey, YouTube, you're fucking up." He's like, "Hey, advertisers, pull out."
No, yeah,
and that's the wrong approach.
No, you have it right, because even
he literally contacted advertisers to tell them to pull out because of this. And you should have contacted YouTube. He had enough subscribers where he could have actually gotten in contact with a representative. He had enough thousands before the whole thing that he tried where he could have got in contact with a person.
And one point I do see that point, but the other side is that the way you kind of hurt, as far as like at least YouTube / Google, is by hurting their advertisers. So it's honestly that was a very, very big dick move by his part by doing that to YouTube and Google and to everyone who like basically earns revenue through YouTube, or anyone trying to get into that side of YouTube.
Well,
go for it.
Hitting their pockets really doesn't matter, because for the past, I think it's been over 5 years, YouTube hasn't even turned a profit.
Oh no,
it's been in the negative.
Not. Yeah, they have not made a profit. And anyone who thinks they have, no, like anyone listening, if you really look into like the financial side of at least YouTube, just YouTube, like Google makes a good chunk of money, but YouTube kind of brings them down a little bit because there is no like positive revenue on that end. And
no, it's they know that it's going to be a hole, and they're okay with it because they want that monopoly.
Yeah, like,
and props to them, they can afford that.
Yeah, like because there's a lot of people on YouTube say if there was another like video sharing platform that was able to compete with YouTube, they would change, but there isn't any. There's been a lot of people, a lot of companies, and a lot of sites that have tried and failed. I go for it.
You know how those sites lost to YouTube back in around 2009?
How?
YouTube is like, hey, we'll pay you. And Dailymotion and Vimeo at the time didn't have an opportunity to pay. So when YouTube said, hey, we'll pay you at that time, people were like, hey, let's just use YouTube, because it made people want to do more for YouTube.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because then, if you're earning a revenue, just stay on the site that's paying you and not the site that's not. That makes more sense.
And they beat Dailymotion and Vimeo by that, and they weren't the number one competitor at once. But it's shitty how they went from, hey, we want the creator to succeed, to we want. I don't like how it's. I mean, obviously, I like how the content has improved from 2009 to today, but I don't like how they became so sensified on YouTube. And do you know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking a little bit more. No, I feel you. I don't know. Things change with time, and sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's not, and it's one of those things that I kind of wish. Like I used to do stuff on YouTube a little bit more a couple years back, and I do a few little things, but there's the way YouTube is right now, and how not only the algorithm but how the platform is. It just doesn't feel like any work I put on YouTube, at least YouTube itself, like is worth me putting the effort to put it together. Luckily, like at least this show, I have like a different platform that I upload it to, and it goes to multiple other things that I don't have to worry about. But
they want corporations, not creators, and I understand that, but it just sucks when they're the big dog in town.
No, yeah, actually, that's a good way to put it. That is that's actually what's been happening the last at least the last year, or at least 18 months. You're getting all these like big corporations like making YouTube channels all in their featured and trending tabs and everything. I can see it. A lot of people talk about it.
And I'm not mad at those corporations and TV places for doing that because they have to. Times are changing.
So here's my question for you then. So where do you see yourself in the next couple of years on this online space? Not just YouTube, but anywhere else you put your content on.
I don't know, to be completely honest, with how the internet culture is now. Because back in, let's see, it's 2019. In 2016, it was a completely different YouTube. And then it was a completely different internet. In 2012, it was a completely different internet. And with how fast the internet changes and moves within 2 years or so, there's no telling where somebody can be in 2 years in reality.
No, you're right. Because like you can just see by the some of the upcoming content creators. Some of them just pop out of nowhere, and then some of them just fall from where they were because they just leave for other things, and then they just go to other sources of income too, like Patreon and or they start streaming, things like that. It is a changing.
It's ever changing on YouTube and the internet as a whole. And that's gonna be the way it goes, because people's tastes change. The audience that grew up with the internet at first is getting older. There's a wider understanding of what it is, and there's more education, and it's a weird landscape, and it's going to keep changing.
That's true. And for anyone listening, think back of some of the stuff you were watching on just YouTube. Let's just say YouTube. Anyone listening, think of some of the YouTube videos you were watching in the last 5 years ago, and then think about what you've been watching now. Like I personally know that I've unsubscribed to multiple channels that I knew I heavily watched. Like I would watch their next video always, and now they're not. I don't watch them anymore. Like there's very few people I'm still subscribed to that I follow since I'll just say 5 years ago. Taste change.
Yep. 2012, the big dogs in town were Fred. You had Annoying Orange, and the Yogscast were pretty prominent players, along with Ray Johnson. A few years passed. Now at the forefront, you got Filthy Frank, you got Grade A Under, you got Leafy. Times changed a little further. Now you got Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and then now you have more of a blend of different contents. So there's big creators in different realms now, more than with just one style.
No, that's true. The like the niche culture, like there's so many now groups. Like before there were like groups, like you had the gaming, you had the DIY channels, things like that. All like before. But now they're really like heavily like grouped off. Like they say you're like your makeup channels. Here are your your vlog channels. Here's your game. There's a lot. There's more sections and things like that.
And that's one thing that with the algorithm, it actually wants you to be a part of a section. Why can't I just be a YouTube channel?
You know what? Yeah,
can't I just put what I want, and if I see something works, then just continue that type of content.
I'm glad you said that, because like I said, like I used to do reactionary videos about different TV shows. Like I would do episodic reactions to different shows. So like I would watch a season of a show, talk about every episode, and in between I would mix in some like gaming clips of stuff like that. And my views were like dipping out. Like I didn't get that many views, but I got an average of like 30 to 40 and here and there. And then the comments would get like I thought this was a reactionary stuff, not gaming. Like I'm just putting stuff I want to put on there. You don't have to watch my stuff.
Wait,
like
what year was this? Out of curiosity.
If I can look it up.
Or better yet, did you beat Leafy to the punch? Is what I was going to ask.
No. This is before Leafy.
Okay, I was going to say.
Oh, dude, no. If I was doing stuff around Leafy's time, he would have like trashed me, which would have been good at that time because I would have got a little bit more, bit more. What's the word? Spotlight.
Clout?
I would have there. Yeah, I would get clout at that point. Like I would have someone like, hey, someone actually caught. It might not be good clout, but it's out there.
For all the shit I give YouTube and more shit I want to give to UMG, if fucking scumbags, let me retry that. So I started thinking about UMG. For all the shit that we give YouTube, they have done a lot of good. So it is what it is, and I'm stuttering, but just gotta keep moving on, right? Like the content moves on.
No, yeah, we just gotta persevere. That's what we do. The only thing we can do is put the stuff that we feel that we enjoy putting on there, and hopefully someone out there enjoys watching or listening to it. Right.
Right, and if you want to enjoy or listen to some of the shareable content, as he's mentioned, I do skits, commentary, podcast, music, some reaction, and I do a little bit of everything. Just come look on down at Cody Blade's YouTube channel.
Don't worry, guys. I'll have links all below and things like that.
You can also search it at youtube.com/. Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of your online persona. So what else do you do outside of YouTube, music, and stuff like that?
I do a little bit of school.
Okay, you're going to school at the moment.
Yeah, I'm still in school. I've started some dual enrollment classes now, and I'm still in high school, so doing some college and some high school.
All right.
I'm going to be a junior when school starts again in a few weeks.
All right. So so not only are you like you're handling high school while like doing all these stuff, and then like do you have to, like there's something like I remember during my high school. Is there something like you want to start pursuing or an area of your that you want to start looking into?
Well, if I'm being honest, I've started to do different certification classes because I have no clue what I want to do. And I know what I really want to do, but I want to make money. So
don't we all? Trust me. Yeah. No, because you're right. I'll be like I said, I'll be honest too. Like at that point I also didn't know. I had an inclination of what I wanted to do. Actually, I can actually tell you, like some of my listeners at this point might know. When I was going to high school, actually I was living in Chicago during my first 2 years of high school, and my parents up and decided like, oh, we're moving. So I moved across the country out to Oregon for my junior and senior year. So it like completely trashed all my plans.
What the fuck is an Oregon? Oh my god, I can't think of the Oregon Ducks. I mean, that's all I can think of that's in Oregon, and I don't even like sports.
It's quiet over here. It's pretty. That's all I can say. It's just nature. I mean,
I'm not in the cool parts of Florida either, because Florida, it has like a really city part, and then it has like the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah, because you have your Tampa and your Orlando, and Tallahassee is kind of isn't really that much of a city when you look at those places, but it's pretty quiet most other places.
All right. So yeah, I kind of went from like kind of city life to suburbia in like over a summer break, and I was like, huh, because during my sophomore year, I kind of already had a plan that I was gonna go into business, like go to take all the business classes, go to college for business, and get my degree in that. Um, and that's kind of like I already had that mindset, because money, I'll be honest,
Money. Yeah,
money,
we want money.
exactly.
Exactly.
And like I moved moved to Oregon, and then I was like, okay, all my plans are now scrapped because I already had an idea, like some of the schools I had some scholarships for over there, and like, all right, I had plans and I had some things were already worked out. Then I moved out and like, fuck, what am I gonna do now?
I mean,
And it's for a lot of people. Some people don't have that, but they're still, you struggle. Like, what do you want to do? Like, for the most part, you want to earn a living. Like right now, I'm gonna be honest. I know a lot of people like in my age group that are struggling to earn enough money to survive in this day and age. Like, and it's one of those things, like you want to be able to prosper, once you like leave high school, start living your life. You don't want to be struggling.
exactly. And I don't know per se what I want to do, but I have myself where I have opportunities set up, and if I know that I'm not going to like what I have with my opportunities set up, I'm gonna pick the best one financially. Pretty much how it works, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that you have more options. Options are good. That's like that is key when you just you don't want to pigeonhole yourself. There you go, into something, and like have nothing else to lead out.
Yeah, but obviously, there's shit like that people jobs like that. But the two things I really want to do is, one, be an internet personality, and obviously I know that sort of thing wouldn't hold up forever, even if I did become a major one. Because Shane Dawson is pretty lucky how long he's been able to make it.
Oh no, yeah.
Or be a professional wrestler, because that's something I really do have a passion for, and I've started to make some opportunities and connections. And
really?
Yep. Because I've just shaking a lot of hands, doing a lot of work after shows, taking stuff down, and when I'm legally able to train, I will, or maybe when they'll let me train, when people will let me train, I will. Age is sort of a thing that, because of what it does to your body, you want to have a certain amount of growth before you do.
Yeah, no. Like, for anyone who's seen wrestling, for the most part, like it's a tough sport. You're putting your body on the line for the most part. That's cool, man.
Most people, they don't really get the body for the part. But let me bust a myth real quick. There is no trampoline under that ring. There is no trampoline. That is bullshit.
No, when you hit the floor or hit the ring, you hit the ring.
It's you know what plywood is, right?
Yep.
You know what plywood, and I guess you know what metal supports are?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's what you're hitting at that point. It's not pretty.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a carpet on you. If you put like carpet on your wooden floor, it'd feel about the same. Probably.
Basically, if you for anyone listening, if you fall off your chair backwards onto the floor, that's it.
Not even. That's kind of light compared to, because there's been some sort of studies that show a back body drop where they, if you know what that is,
when they or just explain it for people.
A person runs, their head. One person. Let me retry. The person runs. He grabs. He flips the person over his head, and the person falls on their back. They equate that to a 30-mile-hour car crash.
Oh.
Is what studies have shown.
Oh, God. Just thinking about it.
It's a very painful thing, and when people say it's fake, I don't think they realize that even those ropes are actually made out of metal.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, those ropes, they are steel cables. and you can actually like get bruises from running from when the person runs off the ropes.
Huh. I thought. Well, I never really researched into it, but I thought they were made of a blend of rope and I forget what bungee cords are made out of, but I thought it was a blend of that.
No, it's just pretty much a steel cable that you can tighten.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I did not know that. So, like, what this is actually really interesting. What because actually I have a younger cousin who's like he's big in the wrestling like everything wrestling everything. It's his life, and
I feel him. I get it.
Yeah, and he wants to be when he was younger, he himself wanted to be a wrestler, but due to his condition, he can't. But he still wants to be involved in that world. So he's trying to, like he's currently working as a like attendant to all the anytime there's an event. I don't know why words are escaping me at the moment. But he works all the events and stuff like that, and he's getting to know a lot of the people, like yourself. You're talking to people.
Yeah, and I'm talking to people, just shaking hands, doing what I can to.
And for anyone listening, like that's what you do. You talk to the people in industries that you want to get into. Like you need to get connections. Like
even with the schools, even with the training schools, you still need to try to get a few connections so you know people.
Yeah,
because. Right, you can be a trained underwater welder, right? But if you don't know anybody who knows how to get you work with underwater welding, or anybody who needs underwater welding, or a place that hires underwater welders, you're going to be out of a job.
Like connections are key. Like it sucks sometimes for people who don't have it, but like do your best to try to talk to as many people as possible. Like that's basically it, really. Like for me, like on just the show alone has gotten me in contact with a lot of people, and I've been fortunate to gotten to know a lot of people in different industries. And that's just because talking, like it's talking to people is key. So my question for you is kind of like what inspired you to like possibly pursue being a wrestler? Like,
well, I had always watched it since I was young, and I had been drawn to it, and I had understood how it is art, and I got a grasp of why I liked it and things like that. And I started looking, and I was like, and I'd always wanted to do it from a young age, but even right now, it actually is a great time for wrestlers economically, because there's actually been a boom in the independents, which are small companies that aren't the big dogs. People are getting more pay as wrestlers now, and let me tell you, Ilya, is still not amazing, but it's better than it was 10 years ago because of the internet and being able to see these small events and everything I've always wanted to do, but everything now even makes more sense with timing, makes it even more perfect because there's more opportunity than ever right now, which is great.
Interesting. That like
passion
honestly
and sorry about that.
No, keep going.
But it's passion, and then I just got lucky with how the timing was set up with the current generation of a little boom right now.
All right, because like I haven't been looking into this, but it seems like you put in some work into researching this, and that props to you, man. Like a lot of people would only think of the idea and then just like, all right, I'll look into it later. But it seems like you've been putting a little work into that, and it sounds like you found some really interesting like information. Like it's something that I would have to look into myself more if I would want to learn. But you are right that there has been a boom. I did not know there was a boom in the local sector, I would say.
Yeah, well, because for a lot of years, and it's still the biggest game in town, WWE, you couldn't make a living if you weren't working there. And within the past, I say about 4 or 5 years, people are now able to make a living without the WWE as a wrestler. And then on top of that, there's actually another company that is going to be on major television for the first time in almost 20 years on TNN, or is it TNT? So now that it's got more people have more places to go, which in a turn means, while yes, it is less competition per se to get a spot on a card, it's more competition for certain names, and it's made people pay more for names, which is great. Because 10 years ago, you couldn't make a living doing this, and the internet, as we've talked, things advanced. You couldn't really find much on the internet 10 years ago. The internet was a lot slower. You couldn't load things. And now you're able to see all these things that aren't with the major promotion. And people are like, wow, there's more stuff. And with that spark of interest, people keep going and going. And as it's expanding outside of there, and that place is expanding also, it means more opportunity for wrestlers, more places for fans to watch, and it means more money for the wrestlers on top of that. So it's great for the wrestler and the fan. The fan has more options, the wrestler has more option, and the wrestler now has more money options. So
that makes perfect sense. You know, you're we are in the time where you can get any media whenever on your fingertips, and having the ability to watch it, because like, at least like for us right now, if there was something I would want to see in like the local Florida wrestling area, I wouldn't be able to see any of that unless it's on YouTube or any other site that features them, and I could watch those matches. Like, it's more exposure. There it is, exposure.
Yep. And now that there's that exposure, it's been great, and it's been a good thing, but it's been weird because, you know, certain trends and things, and I'm glad that the internet has been able to let this have a boom, because as you said, a few years ago, if you wanted to see what was happening in a Florida promotion and you didn't have and it wasn't on Florida television and you weren't at that Florida event, you didn't get to see it.
Nope,
So now there's more companies and stuff, and there's always been some smaller companies with television, but their television has gotten bigger too. So not to knock on those companies, but people weren't paying them as much attention.
No, exactly. Now there's more accessibility, and it's easier and cheaper for the most part to spread the news. But dude, like that's awesome. I hope you pursue whatever plans you have, because you have, like I said, like you said, you have options, and you're still pretty young, so you have a lot of time at the moment to really think about it, and it looks like you're actually putting a good amount of work into not only your online works, but you're also looking to your wrestling dreams too. And more power to you, man. Like props to that, man.
And education also, people. Make sure you have it, even if you have no idea what the hell you're going to do with it during high school. Just get something.
Yep, that too, man. That too.
But as you said, there's more accessibility, and I'm a pretty accessible guy on my social media. Y'all can DM me, and I'm actually very accessible to collab with, believe it or not. If I sound so big and scary, no, I'm very accessible. Just shoot me a DM or watch some of my content. It's very accessible to find in this age.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Like that's the way we kind of hooked up on Reddit, just random posts.
Exactly. So you have some traditional segments that we can slide on into, I'm sure.
Yep. But before we get into that, I'm gonna have some words from some friends here. Okay, we're back. So we're getting to the end of the show, and this part of the show, I usually ask my guests to regale us with a tale of the weirdest, strangest, most convoluted thing that has ever happened, you have ever done, or you have ever encountered.
Yep, that is correct. And the most convoluted thing that I can explain is being touched by a dog without the dog's permission. Or without giving the dog permission.
Okay, can you elaborate what happened?
Yes, that's exactly. So you've heard of a Chihuahua humping your leg, right?
Yeah, everyone has.
Okay, well, this goes a little bit to the next level, and I'm going to set the scene. So I'm walking down the street past a friend's house. This dog comes out their yard, and I'm like, I don't know this dog. And I'm going to another friend's house. This dog is like, I think it's a Great Dane. Yeah, it was a Great, or no, not a Great Dane. I'm sorry, a German Shepherd. So I'm thinking, please don't bite me. And it just goes under, it smells my hand, and I'm like, oh, because I didn't walk in the yard, I'm walking in the road. Smells my hand, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Licks my hand, I'm like, okay, I'm good. This thing puts both its paws on my shoulders and starts going at it. I'm like, ah! No, and I shove it off, and I'm like, oh my God. So I start moving a little faster to get away from it. It puts both, and then it jumps, it puts both its paws back and starts going back to town. And I'm like, bad dog. I swear to God, this thing probably started playing some T-Pain that I couldn't hear, but I didn't want that thing on me. And I don't know how it, so everybody listening, would y'all like a German Shepherd jumping on you like that? It wasn't an assault. Well, it wasn't a physical assault to say.
Wow. That is, oh, damn, I don't know what to say, man. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a story. That is a story. Damn, dude.
That's good stand-up material too, if you can turn it right.
No, yeah. When you, for the most part, you know, when you see a dog, we'll stick with the dog. Like at least a good sized dog. For the most part, you get that little like inclination, like please don't hurt me. Then as you know, it acts friendly, but then sometimes they're a little too friendly, and then sometimes it sounds like it can get a little too friendly.
It got a little too friendly, and the thing standing on its two paws was as tall as me at the time. So
yeah, big dog. Damn, dude.
Big dog.
Damn. Oh. Shit.
I don't know exactly what I could have done in that situation except push it off like I did and hope for the best. But I don't, I'm a little confused why I didn't go for my leg, to be honest with you.
I don't know either, man. But at least you have this.
I wish it was just a story.
But it's a story now you can tell, and I'm glad you shared it with us.
Yeah, it's something I could probably tell on YouTube, and it'd get a lot of views.
That's true. All right, then. Honestly, thank you for sharing that. That's crazy, man. But that's what the segment's for. So let's move on to the game show portion of the podcast.
Alrighty. The game show.
So you decided to play Would You Rather. Would You Rather, for any of our listeners, is I'm going to give Cody two different situations, and each situation has two different options, and he has to choose, or he's going to have to tell us why he would choose one over the other. How's that sound?
Well, I mean, that sounds like Would You Rather. I think most people can play it.
So, first situation. Would you rather wear a full scuba equipment whenever you leave your home, or have Adele and Taylor Swift each write an entire album about how much they hate you?
Oh, definitely Adele and Taylor Swift talking about how much they hate me. That's a business opportunity.
I'm not gonna deny that. That works. Like, yep, everyone's gonna be looking you up. Like, who the heck is this guy they're writing about? Like there's almost no, go for it.
There's almost like no way I can't make money from that some way.
That is true. You'll be able to swing something with that. That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
All right, this one's a little bit tougher. All right. Would you rather let each of your friends choose a tattoo to put anywhere on you, or text your friends every time you masturbate and tell them that you have?
Ooh, man.
So, kind of weigh your options. Tell us what you're thinking here.
I mean, let's see. I like masturbation. I like the feeling of getting a tattoo. I don't really have many friends, so I know my circle is very small. That wouldn't do something too fucked up to me. But, I mean, the first text would be pretty funny, but after that, it'd get pretty fucking annoying. I'm gonna have to go with the tattoo because I only have like 4 friends, and those I can trust pretty well.
All right, man. There you go. Some tattoos on you. Well, Adele and Taylor Swift writes like hate songs about you.
Time to start my rap career.
There you go. All right, that's the game show for you. Pretty short, pretty sweet. Never know what you might get. So this is the time where I let my guests kind of shout out any of the where they can find you, how they can reach you. Go ahead and say it right here.
Alrighty, on Twitter @BladeReams, Snapchat bipolar_Blade. On Instagram, you can find me @Cody.Blade. YouTube, youtube.com/C/ Cody, B Blade, or just type in Cody Blade. You can find my podcast Bladecast on all major platforms. You can find my music on all major streaming platforms. Just search Cody Blade. If you Google me, Cody Blade, I have a knowledge panel that will make everything a little quicker to find. And you can DM me on any of those to collab or anything like that. I'm very open and accessible, as we've talked about earlier. I hope everybody has a good day, and I'm going to throw it back to you.
All right, man. So there you go. I'll have links for all that down below in the description. Go ahead and check him out. See, he has some very interesting shareable content, I would say. And Cody, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us and chat. I hope and I look forward to whatever you're continuing to work and whatever you do. I hope to talk with you again and see where you're at in the near future.
Man, it's been a pleasure talking on this podcast, and I hope it's been at least a quarter of that for anybody listening.
It was a thrill for anyone listening. So thank you everyone for listening. Remember, you can try to reach me on Twitter or Instagram. Go ahead and check those out, or you can listen to this anywhere you can find podcasts. Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all that jazz. So everyone, thanks again for listening. Until next time, see you.
Bye bye.